Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Word. I want to thank y'all because we are continuing our series with the story behind the story. So, over the past several weeks, I have been with Dr. Betty Lovelace, and we have been taking the pages and going beyond the pages of desperate women, desperate marriages, narratives of women who found God in the shadows. We have been exploring stories, experiences, faith journeys behind the chapters. So last week, we were blessed to begin our conversation with one of the contributing authors when Dr. Sean Birch joined us to share the story behind her chapter. Wait for it. When silence screams. Yeah, you heard me. When silence screams. Check it out. Check it out. So today, we are continuing our journey with Rochelle Peterson Ansari, author of I Am Who God Says I Am. Okay? And this conversation is a little special because Rochelle is not a stranger to either me or Betty. We got history, y'all. We got friendship. We got sisterhood and we got relationship ties here. So get ready for some good home sister time. All right. Rochelle, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Wednesday Word. Before we get started with your chapter and the story behind that story, could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, how you know me and Betty, and then how you became involved with Desperate Women, Desperate Measures, the anthology?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Durene. It is an honor to be here with you, both you and Betty. And especially you. We have known each other since we were pups, right? I mean, literally, we met, I believe, in 1993.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
feels like,
that feels right.
no, it was
No,
before that.
90,
It was before
90,
90. That's
90,
right. It
90,
was before that.
90, 1990, the fall
Yes.
of 1990.
And folks, believe it or not, in Vermont.
Burlington, Vermont, to be exact.
Yes. So two little chocolate drops meet in the whitest state in the nation. And yeah,
Ooh,
that's
that's
another
real.
way
That's what people
God
would say.
works. We were supposed to be connected. And here we are, 3 decades later.
Girl,
Yeah.
don't make me cry. Not this early, okay? Not
Mm,
this early.
yes. And Doreen introduced me to Betty. And I think it was through another book project, if I recall correctly.
Was, yeah.
And, Doreen thought of me and introduced me to Betty. And I felt like I had met another kindred spirit and a big sister for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Betty will tell it like it is and in love.
Yes.
Yes.
That's so real.
Yes, and it just stays with me. And so anything that Doreen was going to be a part of, she co-signed for it. Anything that Betty was leading, I was going to be a part of it. So, another project was introduced, and I think it was interesting at that time. I struggled when I was writing, and many other people were struggling. And then the project was paused, and Betty comes back a couple of years,
Three
couple of
years
years later,
later. Three
three,
years later.
three
Mhm.
Wow.
years later. I still had my little chapter though. And I said, it
I'm
has to still
massaging
start.
mine too.
It is right. It had a different name, but it had for me, the same purpose.
Okay.
Right. And so here she comes with this desperate women, desperate measures, and originally a desperate God, right?
Yes.
And I said, oh, yeah, I was ready and more ready than I was 3 years before.
Mm.
I wanted to be a part of, like I said, anything that these serious, powerful, brilliant sisters were going to be a part of. But also, it was time to release
Mm.
to the world
That's a good
Someone,
word.
I heard someone say that your story is someone else's survival guide.
Mm,
And that stayed in the back of my mind that, listen, all this stuff I've been through, it has to, it has to serve to help another sister, maybe younger, maybe older.
mm,
But this thing, this freedom I got, oh yeah, I have to share that
yes.
and give you a few of the touch points of things that happened over the years and the way I was experiencing the world before I made the decision that
Mm,
changed my life.
Hmm. Hmm.
mm. Oof.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's loaded with a lot of things, and it made me think,
Mm,
Rochelle, about the project some years ago. And I recall saying to Doreen that there are times that you think you're ready, but in reality, you're not ready.
mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
with that book at that particular time, I thought we were ready, but there were so many things that happened, not necessarily in the writing, but in the need to share. And where many of the women, me included, were not at a place to where we could share at the level that we needed to. And so
mm.
I'm just thankful for the wisdom to press a pause button, to know
Yes.
when that needed to happen. So I just wanted to
Yes.
put that on the table.
And the beauty
Yes.
of it is, I think, because me and Rochelle talked about this, is some of what we did, and the project was something about moving mountains, that mountain, or something like that. So that's why when I saw this too, I'm like you, Rochelle. I was like, I can use something.
A different feel, but
But it was a
you were able
different
to
feel.
grab. Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is just speak to how Rochelle, you go through much
Mhm.
in this life, and it's no one thing, and that's the other thing I loved about your story is it started us. Okay, I ain't gonna tell your story. You tell your story. You tell your story. I get too excited, y'all. I just get too
Yeah,
excited.
and in the telling, just give a cliff
Yeah,
version. Don't.
don't give them
I
the movie
know.
version. Give them the not even the clip notes, like a little 50-word abstract.
Yes. Well, the bottom line, I shared, I wanted to release in this chapter. I wanted to honor God for what He had done in my life, even through childhood trauma.
Mm,
Yeah. Like over the years, I had actually learned to love even other, like some negative parts of my experience for what it taught me and what it showed me about God.
mm,
So I don't even think I had this title at first. I am who God says I am, but that definitely came to me in the process.
mm,
So the cliff note is that it's a chapter that touches upon the myriad of things, and some things are left out, but the myriad of things that were running in the background of my adult life that began with childhood trauma.
mm,
And I share bits and pieces of that trauma for context. I could have written a whole chapter on each one of them. What was most important were the desperate measures.
mm,
And like I said, I was writing for something that said desperate God too, right?
mhm,
At the time. And this story, I'm not going to say it ends, but progressed to showing the reader what happens when you make a decision,
mm,
a real choice to get closer to God and let Him use you.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you, yeah, two of the experiences of the trauma ran my life, and I did not see it clearly
mm,
until I spent serious time with God after that decision
Mm.
ran my life. And so I want for other people, I want somebody who's 20, who's 16, who's 30 to get free. So you don't have to get free at 53 like me.
Mm.
I hope that's enough because
That's
I
great, but girl,
oh,
you just stimulated something else in me. Could you tell us a little bit about the process? Because what if I'm gonna pick up the book, right, people? But right now, quick on this pot, like, is there a 3-step process? Is there a 4-step process? Like, and I know everybody's process is different, but if you were to, like how we talk, if I was to say, Cheryl, what do I need to do to get free
mm,
and to accept who I am and who
mhm,
God says I am?
I am. Yes. Mm. All of those 3 steps would be different for different people to some degree, right? But going to my foundation was step one. First, there was the realization that there were certain thoughts and behaviors that I had that weren't serving me well.
Mm.
And I had a moment that shocked me. Think words were coming out of my mouth with an attitude that really, to a person, and the look on their face just mirrored back to me, that's not you.
Mm.
What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally as I was opening my eyes in that morning.
Mm.
I woke up angry. I don't wish that on anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, wait a minute. I need to get in my devotion, talk to God before I speak to another individual.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So that was going to my foundation. And when I say going to my foundation, I actually started in the book of John. I was told earlier that year, I write about this in the chapter. I was told earlier this year, that year, when I asked a friend of a friend for advice on how to pray. She said, start in the book of John. God is getting ready to do some miraculous things in your life. This is someone that we would say had prophetic gifting. That's why my friend introduced me to her. It was a 5-minute conversation. I didn't move initially, but I moved when I had that day, that experience of waking up angry. And I just decided I knew some things, about how I learned. So I said, I'm going to start with a parable a day, like not any other plan, but 20 minutes where I could read, reflect, like, what does this thing mean to me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What does this parable mean to me? And then I wrote about it. And I realized, even in that process, that that's the best way for me to pray.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I write to my God.
Yes, I feel that. Mm.
That was my core step. And within that, I had to believe in the deliverance that
Mm.
I was asking for. I looked up what are those fruit of the spirit? Like, I need to know, okay, this is what I'm going for. Joy from the inside out. I
Yes.
had it up on a post-it. I went into a private room as well, right? Because I don't want any distraction. I had that posted. I looked at that every day. And that said to me that I believed that God, in his promises, that I would have joy from the inside out if I just get closer to him. And that was my vehicle for it. Getting in, going to my foundation, which was the word, and without any intermediary.
Mm.
No pastor, no minister, no Priscilla Schreier, no nobody.
That's my girl too. That's my girl.
And so that was another level of belief and faith that was happening, like that was being expressed through me, that I believed that I could understand God without anyone else, just me and God. And man, oh man, what an experience. I mean, things, I was having revelations left and right about things I could not have described the way I can now before then. 53 years old. And I've been in the church since I was a little girl. Took myself to church back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, you have to break things down to me like I'm a 2-year-old. I am not a King James girl for the Christian Holy Bible, so I had the Life Application Bible. I needed it in plain English. But again, the interpretation came from the Holy Spirit. Now, okay, if we want to talk about another step, right? It was daily. I know, you know the basics, right? It takes 21 days. I think somebody said now that it may be 28 days to develop a habit.
Mm-hmm.
I was so committed to my devotional life being the thing, my new habit. And here we are, 6 years later, haven't missed a day. It feels, and it was like this before now, years before now, that it feels like something's missing if I don't do it. Like if my mind starts wandering towards something, I go, okay, wait a minute. No.
Yeah.
Because that devotion is going to guide those thoughts.
That's real.
Yes.
Rochelle, do you have your book in front of you?
I do.
I want you to look at, just to give the audience, the listeners, a snapshot. I'd like for you to look at page 40 and start with 15 years.
Yes. And
And
where you want
then,
me to end?
and well, hold up. I'm going to give you some direction. Who said that?
I did.
I did.
I
It
did.
was me. No, I just said, where
So
you want me to
here, I'm going
end?
to give you direction. Start with
Okay.
15 and
Mm-hmm.
read down to the end of that page. And I want you to read it as you were feeling, as you were writing it. Then I want you to look at page 41 and read just at 53 years old. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Just read those two paragraphs. So
Got
page
it.
40, starting at 15 years, and then on page 41, starting at 53 and reading just a couple of paragraphs. And we're just going to listen. And here's what I'd like to invite the audience to do. Insert yourself in Rochelle's reading
Yes.
or rendering.
Yes. Thank you. 15 years passed before I even opened myself up to the possibility of loving again. 15 years of hiding, protecting, rebuilding. Finally, 4 years after that, at 44 years old, I married Bashir. He agreed to have a baby, even though all of his kids were grown. And somewhere inside me, hope flickered again. But again, my body said no. Month after month, year after year, the hope drained and resentment took its place. Resentment hardened into anger. At 53 years old, I finally began to understand God. Not the God of fear, control, or survival, but the God who made me with intention. As I kept my daily devotion, I began to see his fingerprints all over the life I had lived. In the college students who sought my guidance, Rochelle, you mothered them in wisdom. In the supervisors I mentored, you led without needing their approval. In my classrooms, teaching educators, you taught them to see beyond people's faults to their needs. I realized I had been mothering all along, not one child, many, not through birth, through purpose.
Mm, that's rich. That's rich. Now, as you read to yourself,
Mm.
what were you thinking? What were you feeling? I usually ask two-part questions, so pardon me, but so what were you thinking? What were you feeling? And then as the listeners listened, what do you hope that they took away from those
Mhm.
passages?
What was I thinking? Mm.
Today, not then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first I was like, okay, where does this start? Right? I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Why did she pick that part? Right? So
Mm,
when I began to read it, one, I remembered this moment while I was writing when I really feel like I had this divine download that your chapter is about, you need to write about your miscarriages.
Mm.
And it wasn't originally what I was going to write about. I actually had not connected it. How much I was idolizing being a mother,
mm-hmm.
Mm.
but it was the core of the story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It was the core of many relationships I had gotten into. So, yeah, what I felt was, yeah, this is the this is the part of the story where the resentment and anger really hardened,
Mm.
that those things happened to me as a child, and I was trying to be a mother, to raise a child right in my mind. I was trying to right something I thought was very wrong in my own power.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And God used that anger to get me in order.
Mm.
He used that relationship with my spouse to get me in order. So, I said the words, not the God of fear, control, or survival, but the God who made me with intention.
Mm,
That was
When I
powerful.
when I said that, it was because in those 32 days in the book of John,
Mm.
I found I came face to face with the woman who had not accepted how she was made. I had not accepted it fully.
Mm.
had you
I
ever
thought,
really raised the question of how you were made?
did I ever raise the question?
Had you raised the question?
Not at all. Well, I didn't accept all of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
spent time trying to fit in, even with my family,
Mm-hmm.
because people would put me on a pedestal because I was like the smart kid, the little brainiac. In school, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I leaned into that, right? Like that's where your worth is.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
And well, once you read this chapter, you'll know that there was a story I told myself, a story that got locked into me as a child because of the trauma. I thought I didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
I
So,
spent
so Doreen, when you ask about process, when you ask about what
mm,
did you do, to me, this captures,
Oh,
an
yeah.
isolated scene of process because there are
right,
a number of different processes that will
right.
unfold in the telling of Rochelle's story. And I'm sure as she was capturing it and putting it on paper, a number of things bubbled up. But
Hmm.
as I looked at this, I'm like, this is a very defined process of one being in her raw state, probably her rawest state, and
Mm,
how she moved from that pain, how she moved from the self-hate, the whatever was going on to a place of victory. And so
Yes.
for the listeners, the one takeaway I'm hoping that all of you will have by reading these stories is that the pain was real, the situations were real, but these women fought their way through this, but
Yes.
they realized they didn't have to fight alone. It's
yes.
almost the play for colored girls who considered suicide.
When the
Yes.
They go
rainbow
through
is enough.
all
The
of this when the
rainbow is
rainbow
not
is
enough.
enough. So what Rochelle, oh girl, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking of
Mm,
what you discovered was the rainbow. God was
mm.
Hmm.
enough and he was within.
And
So
he
while
helped her
we,
see that she was enough.
oh,
And he
absolutely,
made her
absolutely.
already a
She
masterpiece.
was already enough.
And she didn't even know it because I remember talking about this. Oh my God,
Mm.
this woo. And the crazy thing is, y'all, this is what's blowing me because I highlighted all of this, got the page fold down, like, oh my God, oh my God. I gotta remember to have her talk about that. This see how me and Dr. Betty is so in sync. Like she like
Yes.
in my mind. This is oh, oh
Yes.
Rochelle, Rochelle.
Yes. And it's
And the
funny.
takeaway
Yeah.
for the
Hmm.
listeners
Hmm.
really is Rochelle was enough, and so are you.
And
That's the
so are
Exactly.
takeaway.
you.
More
You
than
are
enough.
enough.
More than enough.
And
Yes.
vulnerability can lead to victory.
Yes. And remember that culture will teach you something different.
Yes,
Culture will teach you something different if you lean into it, right? Culture as a woman will teach you that you
Absolutely.
need to serve and give
Absolutely.
and give. You need to be useful. Culture will teach you that you have to accomplish, that you need to be stoic and, go through really tough things and not feel
Mm,
and not take time to
mm,
step back. All of this
mm,
was slowing
mm,
down with God.
mm.
And
mm-hmm.
here's something I have to tell you all, right? This is not in the book. When after that experience and that commitment was made, I was tested. Mm. And it was a financial test. And I remember saying, God, why now? You know, last year there was plenty. Why is this happening right now? And it was financial, it was about insurance, something like that.
Mm.
And I remember sitting with him in devotion and I heard, talk to your husband about it. Because I would often try to figure things out
Yeah, you're going to manage it yourself, right? I already know. That's how.
solo, solo, or have the plan. And I just told him, listen, I can't do this. I need your help. And I remember he was like, with what part? All of it.
Mm.
Brother man stepped up. I was like,
Mhm.
come on
Yeah,
now, Jesus.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on now.
Amen.
Ain't that what the
And
Amen.
people say? You have not because you ask
you
not.
ask not, right?
And being this
But
strong black woman can wear you out.
Mm.
yes, yes. And he, it was interesting because I remember when I say he, I'm talking about God. So I remember thinking, huh, I really had to release this. I had to surrender to show you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that I truly believe in you. I
Mm-hmm.
truly, because a lot of the self protective behaviors I had for years, that was part of the buildup of the anger too.
Absolutely.
The self protection, I was taking it out of God's hands.
Yes,
And He
Mm,
knew I didn't know better. So at least I had some favor
exactly.
at certain
Exactly.
times, right?
And there
When,
was a starting point to that.
yes,
We won't disclose what that
right,
starting point
right.
was, but it didn't just happen overnight. It started many years earlier.
Yes, it
To your
did.
need to self-protect, to your need
Yes,
to figure it out, all of that started years earlier.
that's right. And, you know, it it started in the mind of a child. I think
Absolutely.
I need people to know that.
mm-hmm.
How to keep our children safe based on what happened. Well, I won't give it away, right? It probably on the surface looked the same, might look the same as what it looked like to my parent when decisions were being made.
Mhm.
A basic decision, but a child received that as I do not matter
Mhm.
as much as other people.
Mm-hmm. Is that
And the
Only
adult,
child,
true? Ooh,
Rochelle, were you
yeah,
an only child?
no, but I am the oldest,
Okay, okay.
first grand on the maternal side, all the things. And I will say this, I thought in that period of time when I was in those first 32 days of devotion, it was revealed that even my career choice
mm,
was driven by wanting to keep other people's children safe.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
I worked in colleges and universities, folks, if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know my background. And I became equity minded. I think I always was. I always had this sense of fairness. I was that person who I was like, well, if men have it, I should have it too.
mm-hmm.
If white people have it, I should have it too.
True statement.
Right,
Uh,
right.
well,
So I had this sense of fairness. That was a part of the knitting, I believe, right?
Mm.
Like how I was designed.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not see my need to keep myself safe and that story as the reason why I was so committed to vulnerable, marginalized communities. So I already came with a sense of fairness, but I think that even my trauma catapulted me into work that work where I could see what was missing for marginalized groups, right? For historically marginalized groups in higher ed, for people of color, for people with disabilities, and so on and so forth, women, etc. Right? And thankfully, God knit me together to have a heart for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that was scary, I have to admit,
Mm-hmm.
to think, oh, wow, was that authentic?
mm,
A 30-year career? Was it authentic? We have resolved that it is.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that trauma, right, that was operating in the background was used for good
Mm-hmm.
until it did not serve me well
Mm.
anymore.
mm,
Mm.
mm,
That's a PowerPoint right there. Used for good until it did not serve you.
mm,
And when did you know that it had stopped serving you well?
The day I woke up angry,
Okay.
mm,
Okay.
right, that
Okay.
I had struggled with anxiety, worry, fear. I was the kind of person that woke up, especially in my earlier years, I would wake up thinking about work. That was for performance. That was perfectionism. That was workaholism. That
Mm.
was coming from you need to show up for other people's
Yeah.
approval
Yeah.
because you don't matter.
Yeah.
It
Mm.
was the because you don't matter and the seeking the approval that I did not
Yeah.
see
And
Mm.
until I was 53.
and many
Mm.
women wear this banner invisible to them, but visible to so many others. And
Mhm.
this banner says, look at me, look at me. I did this, I did that. You know, I'm
Mm.
all that. But on the inside, we're raw.
Hmm.
Raw.
Mhm.
That
So
public versus private.
that's right.
Go ahead, Rochelle. I'm sorry.
So no, I was going to say it's interesting because much of the work that I'm doing these days is around the resilience,
Mm,
emerging healthy and resilient, and releasing the toxic resilience.
mm, mm,
Mm.
mm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think in a week from when this episode airs, or in the same week actually, I'm going to be talking to a group of high achieving Black women
All right now.
about being strong
Mm-hmm.
and designing the life that they actually want.
Mm. That's powerful.
So I'm being used at a higher level and
So,
a different level. You know, I started a business years ago because I wanted to have a greater impact than through one institution, right? And I never thought that it would be through mainly my story.
mm,
Mm.
So that's nothing but God.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna ask the question that Betty usually asks, just real quick, because we are running out of time. What would you say to young Rochelle? And I know I didn't do it justice, Betty, but I did that so that you could do it completely.
Yeah,
Because
that was
I want
my
that.
next
That's what
question
I'm
to
saying.
ask, but I'm good.
I want that conversation to happen
Yeah, that was
because
my next question to ask. So
see,
yes,
I'm
that's
telling you,
good.
we is like, woo. Okay,
Well, the
ask
great
it. Betty got a better way. My way is like kind of raggedy.
that's all right, honey.
Your way
I get
works
it.
too. Your way
That's
works
right.
as well.
It does. And what would I tell my younger self? And I've actually written a letter to my younger self, and I would tell her the truth.
Mm.
Mm,
Oh, that you were worthy from
mm.
the moment you were conceived, but
Absolutely. That's what
definitely
I
when
was
you
thinking.
entered this
Mm-hmm.
world,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell her, oh my God, that mm, you matter. And because your little brain wasn't fully developed,
Mm-hmm.
you took in the way people knew how to love you in a distorted way.
Mm.
And they were doing the best that
Mm-hmm.
they
Amen.
could at the time. Because y'all, I gave my mom a run for her money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would tell her that you are going to mother other people's children and you're going to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And man, if you let God use you the way I've learned to let Him use you, you will have a life literally of peace and contentment
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
beyond your understanding. Folks, when I tell you, I don't even understand how I wake up happy. Like, I'm just like giddy. I'm giddy when it rains.
Rain is a beautiful thing. Don't be hating on it.
Well, I didn't always feel that
Okay, now I
way.
like rain now.
So, yeah, I would tell her all of those things and that
Mm-hmm.
The hard stuff is going to come. That was something that was distorted too, that I carried some shame. I thought
Mm-hmm.
somehow I caused some of what
Mm-hmm.
happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And that is a noose around your neck.
Mm-hmm.
It will keep you from, it'll keep you at a distance from a God that is just desperate to use you.
Mm.
I'll stop there. Y'all know I can keep going.
Okay, I know, I know. Betty, you got anything else, Betty? Because I'm just like feeling so full, I can't even talk, y'all. And y'all, and they know I'm a talker, but I'm just
Yeah.
so full over here, like,
She's
Mm.
still a talker. Don't let her
woo.
fool.
And I don't want to
Still a
start
talker.
crying either, because I be looking like Friday Night for real when I get that ugly crown. So I ain't trying to go there.
Here is what I will say to the listeners. This book is becoming more and more widely distributed. For me, it started at the YMCA here in Burlington. And I took some books in one morning and showed it. I showed the book to one of the fellows in the room, and he said, "Wait a minute and watch what I do with this." He took that book around the room, and before I left the Y, I believe 15, 20 people had purchased a copy.
Mm.
Mm.
By the time I got back, 2 days from that point, people were coming up to me saying, I saw myself. I saw myself in the book.
Mm.
These individuals were not all seasoned folks like I am. They were across every age group. They weren't the ethnic racial makeup that I am. They were across every cultural, ethnic, racial makeup. They weren't all women.
Hmm.
They were white males,
Mhm.
and so when I say to you that, wow, the book has the title Desperate Women, it could be desperate men, it could be desperate black woman, it could be desperate white woman. Desperation is desperation. And so
Mm.
what I want to say is that it's because of individuals such as Rochelle and Dr. Durene that this book is having the level of impact that it is. And I would encourage you to pick up this book. When you talk about game changers, pick up this book because it is not just a game changer, it is a life
Yeah.
changer. And one of the things I said to Doreen, when I started this last year, it took a complete year to finish this. But when I started it, I did not know anything about the spirituality or the denominational affiliation or any of that with these ladies. I just knew that it was something that needed to be done, and these ladies rose to the occasion. The one common thread that all of you are hearing and will continue to hear is but God. That's what
Hmm.
y'all gonna keep on hearing, but
Yes.
God. You know,
And
so
if that ain't for you and you ain't ready for it, then you don't need to be tuning in to Wednesday Word. You
no,
don't
I'm
need
not gonna
to.
say that. I'm not
I'm
gonna
gonna
say
say
that.
that.
Listen, you know I'm the elder in
I
the
know you are,
in
so I'm
this
gonna
virtual
stand
space.
down. I'm gonna stand down. I'm in my lane. Y'all see how she got me in check real fast, real quick?
I'm not going to say that because the Bible is not called the good book for nothing, right? So if the Bible is the good book, and there are a lot of people who read the Bible who are not professed,
Mm.
believers in God,
Oh yeah,
Christians. I
yeah.
was taught in seminary by a person or two who was not a believer, but I was taught in seminary, right?
Mm.
Because it was the good book and still is the good book. So you're picking up another good
Good
book,
book. Look at
good
Betty.
book,
Wow.
I
good book,
love it.
right? And see,
Yes.
Doreen, that's another download. I didn't plan for
No,
any of that.
that was hot. That was so good. Cause you know I ain't got my little screen. Y'all know I'm challenged, technology challenged over here. That's why I appreciate my viewers. They still stay with a sister because they be seeing me do all kind of crazy stuff. But I'm gonna take a class at some point, y'all. I'm gonna take a class.
So,
But Betty,
Rochelle,
thank you for
I
that.
really thank you for you being with us today, and you brought another perspective, one that was much needed. and one that is very much appreciated. And it makes me know all the more why you had to be in this good book, in
Mm.
this good book, right? Why you
Yeah.
had
Yes,
this good
yes,
book.
yes.
And
Rochelle, as we close, is there anything that you want to say to someone watching today that might be struggling with their identity, with their
mhm,
own worth, with
Mm,
believing that they really matter to God or to anybody? What would you say to them?
I want to say to them that God is not interested in your accomplishments in the way that people are. He's interested in who he knit you together to be in this world for his purpose.
mm,
Don't waste time trying to please people.
Mm,
If they are seeking approval to define their worth, or if you are seeking approval to define your worth, you can choose to stop today.
mm,
mm,
I also want you to know that God's purpose is living in you.
mm,
Ask for the wisdom and the words to see it the way God sees it, not the world.
mm,
And finally, just accept just how you were created. The stuff that makes people like you, dislike you, be confused by you, some of that is just you.
mm.
mm.
Learn to love every part of you. You were designed with all of your unique gifts and talents for a reason. Accept all of you.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Betty, you want to have a final word? You got anything else you want to add today?
The only thing I want to add, and I think it kind of knits all of this together, and I was looking up the author because I had forgotten about the author, Dr. Cynthia Hale, who wrote I'm a Piece of Work. Folks,
Mm,
just know
Mm,
that each and every one of us is
is
a piece of work. But then she goes on to talk about being knitted by
mm,
God. And she goes on to talk about that piece of work being a masterpiece. We're used to the colloquial phrase, you're just a piece of work. But what she does is turn it on its heel and say, yes, we are, but we're God's masterpiece. And so,
mm.
hey, that's what I want to leave.
All right,
yes,
then.
indeed.
So I want to say, Rochelle,
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for not only telling us the story in the pages, but the story behind the story. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And Betty, always, anytime I can be with my Dr. Betty Lovelace, I'm just like thrilled and so appreciative for you being led by God to even create this anthology. And I remember at the start of this, we were talking about the time, folks. God's time is the time.
Is the time. That's the
And
Mhm.
and we might not always be knowing what's right for us because the book we were working on, it was gonna be good. But this book, let me put mine up in here. This book is great. And she's like she said, this is good news. So to everyone watching, if Rochelle's story reminds you about your circumstances or your experiences or other people's, I ask that you reach out and touch them, reach out and help them, but also remind yourself about who God says you are.
Mhm.
And we were knitted in the womb as a masterpiece.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell my students, decide what kind of masterpiece you want to be.
Mm.
Mhm.
Decide that. So if this conversation spoke to you, like the video, share it with somebody who, if you want to join the channel, I would love it. If you got comments about other authors or people, because this is feeling like God is telling me I need to keep talking to authors. And we got some more contributing authors coming up for you with Desperate Women, Desperate Measures as well. So thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Wednesday Word. Thank my beautiful sisters, my beautiful guests. Thank the creator for leading
Yes.
and guiding and ordering our steps in this
Mm.
process. And until next time, folks, be blessed and be a blessing.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Doreen and
Thank
Rochelle.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Yes.
you.